Hello, hello friend, it's Tonton, and in today's video we're gonna talk about heroes from Gen 1 to 10, kind of an update about which one you should pick. We had a lot of conversation on stream, on the Discord, in private as well about these topics. Many questions as well, when I look at other places where people have a lot of questions around just these, what should I do? And I think the current meta of the game, the understanding of the joiners we should use, the change of the December patch are all kind of switching a bit for me the heroes that I will usually suggest. So I cannot re-record, the Gen 1 to 9 video I've made easily. It's like 9 different videos and most of it is accurate. So instead of like re-recording everything immediately, I would just want to kind of give you an update with my latest thinking, what I think what I advise people to do right now. If you ask me about heroes, it's gonna be mostly for free-to-play low spenders. I'm gonna try to tell you what to do as well with your general shards so that you should keep them. And it's gonna be mostly about these SSR heroes, so the orange one, the mythic ones, right? The violet one, the purple one, we talked about them in the joiner video, and you know what to do with them at that point for most of you. So it's more like what to do, with your lucky wheel, what to do with your SSR shards and all of that, and trying to keep a bit of context around all these things. But mostly for free to play. I'll talk a bit about spending, like for some key heroes that you should really get. Eventually, if you're a spender, you get a bit more shards, but it's gonna be mostly for free to play, low spenders today, eventually medium spenders that do not really invest on hero that much. But without further ado, let's start with Gen 1. The obvious choice that I need to mention is that it's for spenders, so I'll put them in bold. The one that you should take is like, if you're a spender, you should definitely take Geronimo. If you pick one nowadays, Natalia got upgraded in a way that makes Geronimo quite better for offensive rally, for bears, for bear trap. So, people using Geronimo everywhere, because Natalia has also an offensive widget, but she's considered not as good. So it's Geronimo all the way. He has more stats. He is working better in every situation I know of. So that's what you're gonna do. Other free-to-play low spender, what you want to do, you will do, of course, Deanman with the lucky wheel. So the blue is the lucky wheel. Pink is all of Chief, all of Heroes. Sorry, all of Heroes, not all of Chief. So that's that's kind of the one that are for spenders, because you need to either use gems or money to unlock. The orange is all of Chief, King of Icefield, SVS Prep, whichever you have. So that's for ranking in the event that you will get some points. And here you get actually, this one is it's more of in between, because you get Geronimo Gen 1, right? Gen 1, you get Geronimo in your all of Chief. So that's a bit inaccurate. You don't get Molly. So a little note. So you get Geronimo, but then the rest is accurate. And the red is, of course, VIP, so the one you only buy with real money. That's the one you can buy. So this man, you will want to do him 3 stars. We will talk a bit about the lucky wheel as well, because now you can spin the lucky wheel up to 3 generations, before. So 2 generations before. So if you are Gen 3, you can spin the lucky wheel for heroes in Gen 3, 2, and 1. And that's, there is a world where Zinman can be used a bit now as a joiner. So you will want to aim for 3 stars for free-to-play low spenders. As long as you are a medium to high spender, I'll suggest you to get it to 4 stars, because it can be used in certain troop ratio to rallies, and you have the rally video that I will link in the description. Molly you will do, but slowly over time. Gen 1 is mostly a Gen 1 where it's mostly a generation where you save your SSR shards. Geronimo is lucky wheel, Zinman is lucky wheel. Molly, you get shards naturally by playing the game. And you will want to go very gentle on Molly. So the way I've done it on my 3054 restart city, when I played it, I stopped to play it, but I played it for 6 months, was that I will just complete some of the big milestones. So when you need 40 shards to get to 3 stars and you are missing a few, things like that. But I'll use maybe 20% of the shards that I got Gen 1, and you will keep them for Gen 2. Gen 2, you're gonna do Flint with the lucky wheel. You can just stop to 4 stars. So Flint, 4 stars is okay. Let's do that. So it's very visual for everyone. 3 stars. That's pay to win. Pay to... So that's what we're gonna do. That's hopefully helpful for you guys to follow. So lucky wheel, you spin 70 times every time. Philly is a skip. Philly you can skip, and you will pour your SSR shards to Alonso. You will as well do 4 star. Something to understand with Alonso is you will be able to keep him for bear trap for quite a while. So your army for bear trap will be Flint, Alonso, and Molly at that stage. And you're gonna clip Flint until you have Amos, and you're gonna keep Alonso until you get Lynn or Gwen. So you're gonna keep both of them quite longer. Flint, you do not need to focus too much on the widget. The widget, is defensive widget. You're not gonna use it often unless you get attacked in Foundry and things like that. So for me, I suggest to get level 2. eventually level 3 if you want to be a bit stronger in arena exploration. When Alonso, you can go to level 4, for example, because you're gonna use him for bear for a while. So that's what I'm suggesting. For spenders, Philly can be used as a rally leader. Nowadays, she's used sometimes as a rally joiner. So, you know, if you push for the Hall of Chief and you get 300 shards, for example, or 400 shards, or even 200 shards, it might still work to do Philly for like medium to high spenders, because she will be used in rallies and she will be used as a rally joiner eventually, which, you know what, used not to be the case when we talked about Philly in the past. But now we understand that she's actually a good addition to the team. Gen 3, it's very simple. Logan, you can skip at the free-to-play low spender. It's really much a rally leader hero. Mia is very important to go very high on her. You can go very high on Widget and high on Star. The issue here is that you have very little gems in Gen 3. It's very, very tough to have the charts. So here, just to be clear, Alonso, you just want to do 4 charts. You don't need to push him above. He's going to use for bear and for arena. He's going to carry you in arena. Greg will be the same. You will do Greg 4 stars, and you will do him just 4 stars, because Greg, you're going to use him in your solo march. You can use him in many other places like Labyrinth and stuff. It's really important to have Greg 4 stars. He's not a good joiner, but he will be of use to you for many, many generations. So I'll highly suggest to go Greg 4 stars, and that should be very much manageable. So the way, and you can do widget 1 to 3. If I don't mention anything about widget specific, it's like 1 to 3 by default. You go very gentle on widget in this generation. Mia, so 4+ stars. The thing with Mia is like you're gonna use her for bear trap until the end of time, and you can use her currently in the formation that we call, you know, with marksman and lancers, marksman and infantry, so like 50-0-50, what we used to call. The current suggestion is more around 48-4-48, so you have some lancers, because Mia's skills are happening more often when you have more type of troops. It's not 50% of doing 50% damage. When you are a rally joiner with Mia, it's 50% per type of troop in the rally, so you average at 75% if you have 2 types of troops, and you end up at 87.5 if you have 3 types of troops. That's why even if in a marksman infantry rally, you want a tiny bit of lancers to increase your odds of triggering Mia. So really important for your bear, really important as a rally. When she's not used in the rally, you will always want 1 Mia in offense and in defense, because she's by far the best hero, right? If you do 50% damage, but it's multiplied by 87.5, right, percentage, it's an increase of damage in general, in average, Mia, and she does not stack well, so you just want 1 Mia. You don't want multiple Mia, but in average, when Jessie is augmenting damage by 25%, Mia in average is 43.75, right? So it's nearly double. So Mia is far better than Jessie, she's far better than Siyun, she's far better than Jaster, so you always want. The issue you have with Mia is like the amount of damage you do is not increased. When you have multiple Mia, is that the odds of the skill applying that is increased. And you already, when you are 7-3, when you have 3 types of troops, your chances are already 87.5. So you can see that having multiple Mia in your rally is gonna, push you to 92 to something like that, and it starts to be really matter very little. So you want just 1 Mia, but you will want nearly always, if it's not in the rally leader formation, which you don't always want, then you will have her at the rally joiner all the time, offense, defense. That's really important. Remember a few things, that offense is not different than defense for the game. So you don't want only defensive hero in defense and offensive heroes in offense. You want the best ones. And what's important for the rally leaders is to get the right heroes for the widgets. That's, offense and defense is only different for the widget that activating for the hero that you use. Everything else, the game, it works the same. So again, you don't have to have defensive hero in defense and offensive hero in offense. You can mix these, and that's often what works best. And Mia is the best because that's the average of damage she gives you. I mean, that's lethality, right? So that the extra she gives you in average per turn, that's a lot more than Jessie and all of that. So that's something about Mia that she's really important as a joiner now. She's really important for bear, which really changed the way we do Gen 4, right? And with the Lucky Wheel, maybe I go back to the gems very quickly, is that you will want towards, Gen 4, 5 to be VIP, maybe 7 if you're really slow with your gems, but you will want to be VIP 9 by then. So you can kind of skip a bit the Lucky Wheel. So you really want to get Flint only to 4 stars, Alonso, Dinman maybe as high as you can if you want to, but you're not going to be able to spin the wheel much. So, you will want to not go crazy on gems because you will start to slowly pour them into VIP to unlock VIP 6, 7, and then 8 and 9. So it's hard to get 5 stars if you are free to play. If you're a medium spender, and you have the gem, then spinner to 4, to 5 star, for example. And the widgets here, you can start to level up widgets. You can do 3, 4 if you can. Greg, it's really not that important. You can do 1, 2, 3. You want 1 at least for arena. You're not gonna use him for rally too much. It's an offensive widget, so at least 1 for arena is great on Greg, and then you can pour everything into Mia. So the way it works now that you're gonna have Lynn that you can do. She's the lucky wheel hero, so that's something you can do. That's really okay. Is she better than Alonso? What people are basically saying is like if there are similar stars and similar widgets, they are more or less the same, right? So Lynn for bear. And through rally, it might depend on your ratio. So Lynn, it's very good to have another marksman because you will have a very solid here. We want a very solid arena as well, and exploration for extra levels, for reward, for stuff like that. That's something I always keep in mind when my choice of heroes is like, and if you want a very strong solo march, your choices may vary a bit, but we will talk about that as well. But here you have an amazing lineup for arena when you will play with 1 infantry, 3 marksmen at the back, and 1 lancer. So you will have Mia, you will have Flint at the front, Flint on the right, Mia on the left, and you will have these 3 at the back. But Lynn she's gonna be useful at the end of the generation. Many people used to suggest Reyna, but now that you are investing more in Mia, the gap with Reyna is not that big than it used to be because people go to skip Mia, or people will put Mia 4 stars, barely need not push or widgets and stuff. So it's a bit tough to go on everything we said at that stage. You're not gonna have a lot of shards. So Reyna I'll skip most of Gen 4. Amos, of course, it will be a great improvement from Flint, but Amos is not a good joiner as well. With the current understanding of the game and the testing, is not performing well. So I'll skip Gen 4 quite a bit, which is kind of new, right? I did Amos myself a year and a half ago. Most people were suggesting Reyna, but I would suggest you accumulate shards and you start to accumulate gems, so you can either push your VIP 9 or you can push Hector to 5 stars. And we'll say 4+ for next gen, but you can push Hector to 5 stars. That's where you could be. For pure free-to-play, it's gonna be tough. For small spender, you might be VIP 9 by then, but for pure free-to-play, it might wait Gen 6 to do that. So skip Reyna, skip Amos, Lynn. Lynn you can do, 2, 3 widgets. Usually do my widget 2 or 3 at that stage of the game. It's fairly easy to do. Gen 5, so Hector, Lucky Wheel, very simple, 4 stars. Widget is defensive, does not really matter for bear. Moving forward, Hector will be your best hero for bear. So the best 2 heroes are Geronimo, first one, best than everybody else. The second best is Hector. Hector is best for bear because of his skills, not because of his widget, not because of his stats. You do not care about the widget and the stats. The widget is defensive. You are using at that stage, you are using 4, 5, 10% infantry. So whatever stats you are having on Hector is not important for that. So that's why you want him 4 stars to have level 5 skills to do a lot of damage. That's what you care about with Hector. That's really important. So you put him 4 stars. If you're already VIP 9, you can start to put your heroes 5 stars. It's a really good generation to do that. And to put a hero 5 star with a lucky wheel, you need to spin 120 times every event. Sometimes you will get a bit too much. Sometimes you will get not enough because the amount of wheels you have per event, per generation change a bit. That's just the way it is. If you transfer a lot around that stage, many people transferred around, it's unlocked Gen 3, so many people transfer Gen 3, 4, you might have a bit of extra shard. And that's one generation that is really good to have the extra shard because we will do Gwen 4 to 5 stars. Gwen's gonna be used until you have Bradley, and Bradley you're gonna have him later in Gen 7, so she's gonna be used for the full Gen 5, for the full Gen 6, and for a good portion of Gen 7. So she's gonna be used for 2 gen and a half, nearly 3 gen if you do your Bradley very late. But Bradley 3 stars will start to be really, really good. So probably 2 gen and a half. So you can put your widgets, 4, maybe 6. You can push it a bit. You're going to use her for bear. You're going to use her for arena. She's amazing for arena. So Gwen, you're going to use her everywhere. Nora, I will consider her 4 stars nowadays because, Mia is a bit old in arena. You have a René that you're gonna get, but it's a lucky wheel. So René Gen 6, you're gonna have him at the end of the generation. So Nora, you will be able to max her, to put her 4 stars at the beginning of Gen 5 if you followed the plan and accumulated something, some SSR shard that you transferred a bit eventually. And then why do you want Nora? Is because one of the best ratio that we talked about earlier was with Mia was 48, 4, so 4% Lancers, 48 infantry, and 48% marksmen. And often you are using 3 to 4 Noras to join that. And that's one of the best troop ratios. So now the game is mostly having 2 troop ratio that are being used, is 60-40-0 or 48 or a variation of that, right? So these are the 2 ratio you use. For 48, you're going to use your best infantry always. And it's often the latest, except in offense, it will be Geronimo until until this gen, until 7, 8, and stuff like that. You're going to use Geronimo in offense. And then you're going to use your best in defense because all of these are defensive widgets. Only Geronimo and Natalia have offensive widgets on infantry. So all of these are defensive, so that's why they are quite stronger as well because they have higher stat and they have a widget for defense. And offensively, Geronimo has the offensive widget. So even if he has a lot less stats, the widget does a lot. That really does a lot. And you will want to use your best marksman as well. So often it's going to be Gwen, it's going to be Lynn, it's going to be Greg, whichever generation you are in. Lynn, you might use her in defense and use Greg in offense, or Alonso, for example. And you will use always Mia in that 48 for 48. And Nora will be the joiner. Like, even if we want different joiner, that's the only exception currently that really works is when you stack Nora. When you stack Nora, you can use 4 Nora, it works really well. If you defend against Lancers, maybe you want 3 Noras and 1 Patrick to increase a bit the survivability of your Lancers with extra health. That could be. So these, I will suggest most people that care to be good rally joiners, so all the free-to-plays, all the little spenders, even me, I'm a rally joiner with the level of spending I currently have. Having Nora in your kit is really important. And we are all going for good rally joiners here. For nearly all of them are okay rally joiners. Something to note is actually that Gwen do not work the way it described. For the rally joining skill, the first expedition skill, it's actually pretty bad. So you don't want to use her as a rally joiner. You don't want to use her for bear. As a rally joiner, you want to use it in your own march because she has good stats, she has good widgets, she has good other skills. But not as a rally joiner, she's not that good. So that's where we are for Gen 5. I'll try to speed up a bit. Gen 6, things are changing a bit. So you will want to do René with your lucky wheel. So at that stage, it's 4+ stars. If you are VIP 9, I will suggest you to do René to 5 stars eventually. That's where I suggest to max heroes to 5 stars and to do a bit less in quantity, a bit more in stars. So you are stronger in arena, you have stronger marches when you have to burn people in foundry or to defend. If you like to burn city before SVS castle battle, you will have a stronger heroes. René really makes 60-40 shine with your solo march. So you can swap when you burn cities, when you attack in foundry solo, you can swap with René as soon as he is 4+ stars, put some level widgets on him, and you can use him for 60-40, and you can play 60-40 when you PvP. That's really important to understand. He really makes 60-40 pops. He's really, really good. I use Wayne. You can skip. Gwen is better than Wayne on everything except for rally leaders. She has Wayne as a defensive widget, right? So people are using Gwen offensively and Wayne defensively at that stage. Gwen is beating Wayne in arena. I have both to 5 stars and widget level 4. I'm using Gwen, I'm Gen 9, right? I'm still using Gwen because I used 3 marksmen in arena exploration, and I skip one of the, later generation. So I have to use Gwen or Wayne, and Gwen is like beating Wayne by a lot. So Gwen, that's why we want to do Gwen here. You get her a lot sooner. She will be used for bear a lot longer because when you're gonna replace him very quickly with Bradley as well. So whatever you invest in Gwen, you're gonna keep for longer, and it's actually a better hero. I usually suggest to go Edis, but I think it's changing a bit because Wooming is one of the very good joiner nowadays. He's one of the best joiners, that defensive joiner with Patrick. There are very, very little good joiners defensively because most of them are 20%. Sergey is 20%, Lumark Bokan is 20%. And because offense is equal as defense, it's not better, right? You will want to have 25% joiners because they just give you more stats overall. So you are ditching all the defensive 20% joiners. Amos is we looked at it in the Discord. You have some calculation around it, some explanation why he's actually a bit below a 20% joiner for me. So you ditch all of these 20%, like Sergey, Baiti, all of that you ditch, and you go for 25% joiners. So that will be JC, Jasser, Geronimo, these kind of guys, right? And Patrick for defense. Wooming is your other option for defense, particularly because in this gen, like Mia, Hector, Nora, Gwen are doing a lot of damage hero skill. And Wooming is actually reducing that. So it's canceling a lot of the zeros in this generation that are really strong. It's not always true with all generation moving forward, but for this generation, is actually a really good rally joiner to have, and it will be used. It's actually okay in arena as well. So skip Gwen. One of the options you will have here, and usually what I suggest to do, is to go to Edis, to skip Wooming, and to go to Edis Gen 7, because I find her a lot stronger. So here, everything is an option, and you cannot do both. You probably don't have the shard to do both. So, you can do 4 or 4+, right? If you use him as a joiner, you can, and here it's gonna be, your arena is gonna be pretty strong. You're gonna get Hector Wooming, you're gonna get Rene or Nora, depending on where you are, and you're gonna get Gwen, Greg. You can use both. You can try Lynn, see what works the best, based a bit on what you did with your widget and stuff, but you're gonna be a very, very decent arena lineup at the free-to-play spenders. So here you can do one or the other. You cannot do both Edis and both Wooming. Understand that Edis is going to be replaced by Gatot in nearly every situation, except for rally leaders. There's some rally marches where Edis performing a bit better, but for your solo march, for our arena, everywhere, even if I really love Edis and she's really good, Gatot is replacing her. So you will have to make a choice here, unless you transfer a lot and you can do both. But that's a lot of investment in infantry recently. Gordon is really a rally leader. You can skip him. Very important is Bradley. I will do Bradley 5 stars, and I will put his widgets, 6 at least if you can. Bradley is a monster. He's really strong. You can use him for bear, for solo march, for 60-40. For whatever you do, you're going to use Bradley for many generations. The only time he's replaced in bear will be by Blanchett, but Blanchett need to have as many stars from what people tell me, because I'm not Gen 10 yet, and as many widgets. So if you do a Bradley 5 stars level 8 widget like I've done, you might not even replace him by Blanchett, because I'm not going to do level 8 widget on Blanchett. So I'll do the test in the coming months to see, but I might only replace him by Rufus, so he might last until Gen 11. So Bradley is really, really important. He's amazing in arena exploration. So that's what you're going to do. Then Gen 8, you will want to do the Lucky Wheel. By then, you should be VIP 9. Else, for me, you messed up your gem management, and that's okay if you did. You can always fix it later. There's nothing you can't fix in this game most of the time, unless you really screwed up. But most of the time, a few gens later, you can fix. Either you did the wrong stat, the wrong priorities. You can always fix it with a bit of time. Sonia, I would not suggest Sonia. I would suggest Hendrik. And you can do, for me, like I will do, 5 stars on this if I can. It's 5. Let's put it 4 stars plus. Why do you want to do Hendrik? Hendrik is a good rally joiner. He's a 25% as well, and he's putting a unique skill, so he's reducing a stat. So you can have, like, as a 25% joiner, you can have a Jesse, you can have a Siyun, you can have a Patrick, and you can have a Hendrik, and they are all 25% joiner with different stats, and they are working very, very, very well. They are really, really good. So he's good. He's amazing for your arena. So your arena, you're going to have Bradley, Hendrik, you're going to have Gatot, Wooming, or Edis, whichever you use. You're going to have Rene. That's going to be really, really good. And it's putting you in a situation for Gen 9 when you can do something amazing, and I'll talk about it in a sec. So often people go for Sonia in arena. That's what I've done myself, based on advice of other people. I have Sonia max 5 stars with level 4 widgets. When I face someone that has similar lineup with Hendrik 5 stars level 4 widget, I lose versus Hendrik. So Hendrik has more impact on arena than Sonia to my test, even if I replace Rene with her. And Hendrik is a good joiner, that Sonia is not that much. And Hendrik gonna set you up for a very, very good lineup in arena that's totally insane than the gen after. So that's where you want to go. Then you will have to have Gen 9. So Gen 9 you will do Fred, so 4+ stars is the Lucky Wheel 1. So you're gonna get him late gen. So like your Lancers will be quite weak. But at that stage, to be honest, if you play 60-40, you just need Rene. He's so good with your solo march. That's working because he's really so good. Of course, if you get one of these, it's a bit better, but you cannot do everything. So I do Fred. Magnus is far below Hector for bear, so I would not do Magnus. Magnus used to be a bit better than Hector. That's why actually I've done it myself, and then 2 weeks later they fixed. they released the patch for where they changed the skill, and Hector is now a lot better. So Magnus is kind of useless. You just have Gatot at the end of Gen 8, so there is no point to do Magnus. Xura, many people suggest not to do her, but when you have Bradley, Hendrik, Xura, and you use whatever combination of that. You put one infantry on the right in arena and exploration, so that will be Gatot in that case, and you put Fred when you have him, and in the meantime you put René in the front on the left. That's totally crazy. That's insane combo. You put Xura in the middle in the back lane, you put Bradley on the left, you put Hendrik on the right. It's killing. It's like the strongest arena setup I ever came across so far in the game. By far, by really far. So it's really insane. So it sets you up very, very well. So you can see with the way I think about the game, you invest a lot in marksman because you care about arena, you care about exploration. If you would play a bit 60-40 and you are like, I'm going to be a lancers and infantry guy, then you can skip a bit on the right and you can change a bit and you can get some of the good ones, right? So you might not do Greg. I mean, Greg is amazing for 60-40 actually. So you might want to do Greg, but Alonso is good now. And you can do Reyna or you can do Sonia instead of Andrew. Like you can make some choices. These are general recommendation I give, but that, you can tweak them a bit, or especially if you transfer a lot and you can do a bit more. But that, you get an amazing arena, you get a really good lineup, you get a good solo march as well with Fred with latest gen. You can use marksmen, you can use lancers, you can use whichever troop ratio you want, right? And I'll talk a bit about Gen 10 because, it's happening for us in 2 weeks, so I have a bit of an idea. Gen 10 and 11 a bit, I don't know much beyond Gen 12, there's like 15 gens now, but they're a bit further, too far for me to really know what's going on. Blanchette will be the lucky wheel, so you will always want to do the lucky wheel. At that stage, I'll put floor plus stars because, you might have a different gem management. That's what I recommend. But to be honest, like if your heroes from Gen 7 are not 5 stars, I find that you're going to be really struggling to burn people and really struggling in arena. So you should be VIP 9 and then put them 5 star. Like often what I see what people do is they do all heroes level 2, 3, 4, whatever. No, you focus on some, you put their widgets a bit higher level, and you put their stars a bit higher level, and you are actually strong. You are not a weakie, you're not weak, you are actually strong. Here, what you can consider is doing Gregory is a very good infantry. He's a really, really good infantry. We can say 4 plus stars here. He's really, really nice for that. He's gonna replace Gatot, that is a bit old by now, and you're gonna get Eleonora with the lucky wheel, but Eleonora, you will have a later Gen 11, right? So Gregory is gonna not last fully 2 gens, but he's gonna last quite a bit. So that's gonna be okay. Freya apparently is good, but you just got Fred. So you get Fred end of Gen 10 because of the lucky wheel. So it does not worth getting early Gen 11. Your Fred is kind of useless. So I would not stress too much about my Lancers. I will go like that. Gen 11, I've heard that everything is amazing. So if there is something to plan for with your transfers and your chart, it's eventually doing the full Gen 11. Rufus is a must pick. Eleonora, you will get her. And eventually, getting Lloyd is pretty good. And it's a good time to get an infantry, a Lancers, because the next one you have with the lucky wheel, right, you see will be Carol. So you will have Carol end of Gen 12, right? So Lloyd will be useful for 2 generations, more or less, until you have Carol replacing him, which, if you put them 5 stars. So these are all 4 plus stars, kind of if we talk a bit about Gen 11. And then after that, I'm not too sure what's up, but, over time, as I progress, as I learn about the game, I'll be able to guide you. But that's kind of how I think about hero. That's what I will suggest today to people with trying having the right heroes to be strong for your own march and having the heroes to be rally joiners. If your alliance are, using Wooming, Nora, you get it. Many of things like that are really important to get, else you could be in the sideline, especially as a free-to-play. It's already hard to join the biggest rallies with your troop level. So on top of that, if you don't have the right heroes, it's a bit tough, especially when they ask for the same, which is the exception of Nora. Nobody else, no other rally should have 4 of the same heroes. You should have a mix of hero joiner. And I will link to you in the description the rally leader, rally joiner troop ratio video so that you understand how, why that and why it's important. But that's it for me today. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments if that's helpful and if it changes a bit the way you view, or if you have maybe some pushbacks, disagreement, that's really okay. I really learn a lot as well from, talking to you guys. That's one's man opinion. And you see like I'm really biased on marksmen and infantry and arena, and you could be a lot more stronger on 60-40 with lancers, and that could be totally okay as well. I'm really not against it. That's as well helping you for bear. It's just a different way to play, so it's different choices, and that's good as well. It's not bad. It's just not my default setup. basically. That's not the default I suggest, but it's a very good option as well. So thank you for watching. Consider joining the Discord, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.